Hi, my name is Nathan Clark from Leeds University, and I'm doing a sports sponsorship placement at Social Sports Group. While spending my time here, I'll be making video diaries each week with 3 questions of what have I done, what have I learned, and what is planned for next week. My first week started with a meeting with Marlon, the founder of Social Sports Group. He gave me an introduction to the organisation and the role I'll be fitting into while spending my time here. He also gave me a little insight into a new project called Let Her Play, which allows girls between 8 and 11 years old to play sport. I had the responsibility to look for companies in central London who would fit the target market for this project and be a potential sponsor for this project. Marlon also set me up with the knowledge and tools to locate the organisation's details such as emails, phone numbers, which will then be added to the system for future access. What I've learned in my first week at Social Sports Group is the importance of LinkedIn, as this is a powerful social media tool used for connecting with employers. This will help me build a foundation for myself here at Social Sports Group as a sports sponsorship executive. Next week, I hope to implement new strategies for communicating to organisations who are looking to sponsor Social Sports Group. From this, I'll be able to build a successful relationship with these organisations, which will help me prepare for a meeting. Welcome to week 2 of my video diary. This week, I started with watching 2 videos on what makes a proposal successful, and from my notes, created a presentation to Marlon on what strategies and ideas could be implemented into the proposal for Let Her Play project. My second day started with an introduction to cold call and how to successfully talk to organisations on the phone. This was a new experience for me, and I hope this will improve my confidence throughout the weeks. I was also invited to help with giving interview questions as an interviewer to level 1 coaching students. These students have had no experience in interviews at all, which gave me a good opportunity to provide feedback from my own experiences. What I've learned this week at Social Sports Group is the importance of cold call and how to talk to organisations formally over the phone. I've had the opportunity to do a power hour and have clear and sociable conversations with organisations in London. Throughout the weeks, I hope to improve on this and become more comfortable talking over the phone to organisations. Next week, I plan to follow up in conversations with the organisation and try and arrange a meeting. Marlon will also show me how meetings work and prepare me for one with a script for all opportunities Social Sports Group can provide to the organisation. Welcome to week 3 of my video diary. This week, I start with an introduction to Snap Sponsorship, which is a tool which organisations use for helping promote and gaining sponsorship through social media. I also watched a video about Snap Sponsorship, which gave me an understanding on how it works and how I'll be using this on Twitter. My second day started with making an elevated pitch for the 2 networking events I attended. These 2 networking events were very enjoyable and gave me a chance to talk about Social new projects for small local businesses. I also followed this up by connecting with these people on LinkedIn. Businesses who were interested were sent an email to arrange a meeting with myself or Marlon and could be a potential sponsor for this project. What I've learnt this week at Social Sports Group is the importance of networking as a way to communicate to other businesses on what we do and what we want for our new project. The opportunity to talk to local businesses has increased my confidence and given me a chance to talk to people who have similar interests to me. Next week, I plan to arrange meetings with people that I've talked to at the networking event with either myself or Marlon. I will also be introduced to Twitter and try and gain followers for Social Sports Group, as the followers on Twitter is very low compared to LinkedIn. Welcome to week 3 of my video diary. This week I started with a meeting with Marlon. He showed me a software called Canva which makes videos for promotional purposes. He tasked me with making 4 videos for the event that advertised opportunities for any business with a low marketing budget to sponsor one of the packages. The 4 video packages included official sponsor, co-sponsor, sponsor trainer, and newsletter. Each one had its own unique feature and price. I also attended another networking event this week and had the chance to talk to people from the previous week. This helped strengthen my relationships with these people, and it was a good way to discuss different events that everyone had coming up in the next month. What I've learned this week at Social Sports Group is how important videos are for marketing and promoting events. People are more likely to watch a video than read a post because it's more engaging to the audience. Next week, I plan to receive feedback from my videos on what can be improved so that they can go live. I will also be attending networking events where I can increase my connections and make friends in the industry. Welcome to week 5 of my video diary. This week I started by continuing with the artwork for the videos for the She Gets Social Lunch and Play event. I then had a meeting where I received more feedback for the voiceover for the videos and continued editing them until they were complete. I also had the chance to attend an online event for Sported, and they talked about how we as Pulse Social can receive a grant. This was very interesting as I didn't know how this worked behind the scenes and gave me a good understanding on what happens. I'm also continuing my networking event and had the chance to talk to different people about the event and strengthen my relationships with these people. What I've learned this week at Pulse Social Sports Group is that Pulse Social are entitled for a grant and also how they can apply for it from Sported. This was very interesting as I didn't know how these organisations could receive this. Next week I plan to have the videos go live and for them to be posted on Pulse Social's social media for potential sponsors to see. I'll also be using social media to attract new sponsors for the She Gets Social Lunch and Play event. Welcome to week 6 of my video diary. This week I started with a call with Marlon and completed my sponsor videos for the She Gets Social event taking place 17th of June. Marlon tasked me with finding a sponsor for the trainer at the event. I then looked at companies in the sporting sector in London who are making a revenue during the COVID pandemic. I followed this up by cold calling the organisations and having a conversation with them about the event. I also attended an online event about fundraising and getting a grant. This was very interesting because it explained who is eligible to receive this and what to include in the proposal to like banks, etc. I also had the chance to join a Zoom call on the rehearsals of Pulse Social event taking place next Tuesday and gain insight into how this event is managed and laid out. What I've learned this week at Pulse Social is understanding the amount of time and effort that's gone into these events at Pulse Social, and it was good to be part of the rehearsals as this gave me an opportunity to see this. I've also improved my communication skills over the phone because I feel more confident and have a wider knowledge of the event than in previous weeks. Next week I plan to continue in finding a sponsor for the trainer at the event. I will also be shifting slightly towards marketing for the event on June the 17th as this is the next event planned for Pulse Social. Welcome to week 7 of my video diary. This week I started with a call with Marlon and reflected on a networking event that Pulse Social held at the beginning of the week. He then tasked me with finding a company who would sponsor or provide the resources for kids' birthday parties. I then spent the rest of my time calling organisations that were located in London and found Facebook groups where I can advertise for free to try and gain awareness for Pulse Social and arrange a meeting. What I've learned this week at Pulse Social is to adapt to certain situations on the phone to engage with a caller and have a friendly conversation so they feel comfortable talking on the phone, which could lead to them being interesting and wanting to arrange a meeting. Next week I plan to continue finding a sponsor and arranging a meeting with them. I will also be marketing for the Pulse Social event on June the 17th. Welcome to week 8 of my video diary. This week I started with a call with Marlon. He set me a task of finding companies that sell party items in London. I then looked for their Twitter names and used these to Snap Sponsor to create a post with tags of the organisations on Pulse Social's Twitter page. Also this week I have been using Snap Sponsor to create assets and opportunities for the up and coming events Pulse Social have. These included birthday parties, She Gets Social and Girls Can Play. What I've learned this week at Pulse Social is how Snap Sponsor works and how to create a post with tags of the organisation. Next week I plan to continue with the marketing for the up and coming events and use the videos that I created in the previous weeks to promote the project and attract sponsors to the event. Welcome to week 9 of my video diary. This week I started with a group call with Marlon and received a plan for this week. The first day I was tasked with finding companies in the publishing and media industry in West London. I then looked at their Twitter names and noted them down for the next task. I created a Twitter account which linked me to Pulse Social. I then looked at potential things to say in the tweet for the birthday party certificates. The second day I looked at companies from different sectors around Liverpool Street in London and created a Twitter post tagging them in it. What I've learned this week at Pulse Social is how to correctly write and tweet a post on Twitter with tags and hashtags of an organisation. This will hopefully gain interest for Pulse Social and give an organisation an opportunity in helping the community in London. Next week I plan to continue using Twitter as I will be focusing on social media marketing for the next event taking place 17th of June as this is the next event for Pulse Social. Welcome to week 10 of my video diary. This week I started with a team meeting with Marlon. He explained to me what I'll be doing for this week. The first day I continued with tweeting companies which I found in the London area using the methods from last week. The second day I attended 2 networking events to try and find a sponsor for our event taking place the 17th of June. This was a great way to expand my connections and talk to small business owners about their products or services they have available. What I've learned this week at Pulse Social is to understand other business owners' current situation and how it has impacted them over lockdown. As we ease slowly out of lockdown, new opportunities have arisen and these small business owners have had to adapt to the current situation. Next week I plan to continue with finding a sponsor for the event on the 17th of June, as this will be our focus for the last couple of weeks at Pulse Social. Welcome to week 11 of my video diary. This week I started with a call with Marlon and we discussed my tasks for this week. On my first day I looked up different Facebook groups I could join to promote Pulse Social's Snap sponsor page, which includes all the opportunities we offer for sponsorship. I then created a list of these groups which I sent to Marlon so he had a copy too. In the morning of my second day, I was given a task with people who are also on my placement. This task was to find stakeholders and reasons why eating disorders are so high in sport, especially in athletics. After this activity, I continued with finding Facebook groups and joining them to promote Pulse Social in the UK, mainly in London and Hertfordshire. What I've learned this week at Pulse Social is to effectively find Facebook groups and respect the rules and guidelines that they have set. These pages allow me to advertise for free. Next week, I plan to continue with the Facebook groups and see if Pulse Social have gained any interest from small business owners. This will also be my last week at Pulse Social and I will need to do a turnover for the next person who will be taking my place. Welcome to week 12 and my final week at Pulse Social Sports Group. In this diary, I'll be answering 3 questions. What I most like about this placement, what the most important skill that I learned on this placement, and what I plan to do after completing my placement. While spending 12 weeks at Pulse Social, I've really enjoyed my time spent here and learned so many valuable skills too. There has been many moments I've enjoyed, but there's one that stands out in particular, and this was creating sponsorship videos for Pulse Social's Lunch and Play event. The reason for this was because I received feedback from an agency about the videos and what I could improve upon. I always like receiving feedback as it shows me what I can improve for next time and the do's and don'ts. Marlon has been a great mentor over the 12 weeks and has shown me everything that is needed for me to be more employable for the future. I've learnt many skills while spending my time at this placement. The skill I believe I've developed the most is my communication skills and decision making. My communication skills have been developed through numerous activities including networking events and cold calling. These two have really pushed me out of my comfort zone as I have not done this before and has built my confidence at Pulse Social over the weeks. Secondly, decision making has been crucial. When asked a question about the organisation, I had to think on the spot on what to say while only having a little amount of information available to me at the time. After finishing my 12-week placement at Pulse Social, I plan to look for a summer internship with a sports organisation in Formula 1 as I plan to continue my career down this line. I will also be completing a course to become an FA referee which I will use in my 3rd year at university.